Chapter 41 Encountering the Royal Fighting Team Again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the blink of an eye, 2 weeks had flown by. For those 2 weeks, Chowda and the others practically lived inside the captured space, only returning to the inn to sleep. While their core soul power level hadn't jumped, their reserves were steadily building, and a breakthrough felt close. Chun-Li and Mai Xiang, however, had leveled up. The mother and daughter both climbed a level, bringing Chun-Li to level 6 and Mai Xiang to level 4. Congrats, Chowda said, even though your levels are still low, you've got plenty of room to grow. Keep working hard, and you'll both be soul masters in no time. He looked at Mai Xiang. With the daily boost from the space-captured ingredients and fruits, she'd grown noticeably in the past couple of weeks. With that adorable rabbit tail, she looked healthier than ever. Chun-Li, despite being in her early 30s, was also benefiting from her improved physique. Her figure was filling out, and her skin was glowing. With those cute rabbit ears, she exuded a unique charm. They were both becoming a sight for sore eyes. Thank you, Chun-Li said, we wouldn't be where we are without your help. We owe you everything and will always work hard for you. Chun-Li and her daughter started to kowtow to Chowda and the others. Hey, none of that, Xiao Wu quickly stopped them. Don't do that again. Chun-Li and Mai Xiang wiped away their tears and nodded, genuinely grateful for the new life Chowda and his friends had given them. Xiao Wu changed the subject. It's been ages since we hit up a great spirit arena. How about we check out the one in Silv City? Fresh names, fresh starts for everyone. Qinjia and Mai Xiang can come along for the ride. Entertainment options were pretty scarce in this world, and the Great Spirit Arena was a popular spot for soul masters to unwind and duke it out. Alright, let's hit the Great Spirit Arena. New names and all, Chowda decided. They threw on some disguises and masks before heading to the arena. For names, they went with monikers inspired by their martial souls: Seven Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda, Nether Cat, Soft Bone Charm Rabbit, and Space Controller. As for team names, Chowda and Xiao Wu went with Douluo, while Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing chose Netherglass. Chun-Li and Mai Xiang weren't ready to compete yet, so they'd be watching from the sidelines. They re-registered at the Silv City Great Spirit Arena. Chowda, level 56 Soul King; Xiao Wu, level 45 Soul Lord; Ning Rongrong, level 34 Soul Lord; Zhu Zhuqing, level 35 Soul Lord. Each city's Great Spirit Arena had its own unique pool of soul masters to battle, so the opponents would all be new, or so they thought, until they ran into some familiar faces. Oslo, Chrysanthemum. The Emperor Fight Team from Tiendo Academy. Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing were pitted against Oslo and Chrysanthemum. What a surprise! Xiao Wu grinned. Perfect. Time to teach them a lesson. Zhuqing, bust out that third soul skill and embarrass them good. She was already picturing Oslo and Chrysanthemum's reaction after getting hit with Zhu Zhuqing's netherfall. It was going to be epic. Zhu Zhuqing and Ning Rongrong exchanged knowing smiles. Xiao Wu announced, I'm gonna tell the arena staff to freeze my solo matches for now. I'm not missing this show. Chowda had already gone to the single-player soul fighting competition, and the three of them were waiting for their respective competition arrangements in the waiting room. Chun-Li and Mai Xiang had gone to watch Chowda's competition. Xiao Wu went to buy a ticket, and entered the venue where Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing were going to fight their spirits. Well, look who it is, she muttered. She spotted Qin Ming, Duguian, Yufeng, Chrysanthemum, and Yi Lingling up in the viewing platform. Yu Tianheng was missing, probably off competing himself. Normally, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing, being fresh registrations with Iron Spirit badges, wouldn't be matched against Oslo and Chrysanthemum's silver badges, but the Netherglass team had specifically requested to fight any opponent, regardless of badge level. The Huangdo team had made similar requests. Everyone seemed to be in a rush, which made the arena staff loosen their restrictions, and that's how they got matched together. Special circumstances, special treatments, happened all the time. Xiao Wu recognized the Huangdo team members, but they wouldn't recognize her in her disguise and mask. Same went for Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing. Plus, they were fighting under different names. Even seeing the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile Pagoda martial soul wouldn't immediately ID her as Ning Rongrong. They'd probably just assume she was some other disciple of the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile School. and since the Huangdo team didn't know Zhu Zhuqing's martial soul, they likely wouldn't guess her identity. That Seven Treasures Glazed Tile Pagoda has to be a direct disciple from the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile School, Qin Ming mused. Ghost Cat, agility attack type, just like Oslo. Both sides are pretty even in soul power. This'll come down to whether Oslo and Mo can take out the Seven Treasures Glazed Tower support first. If they can, they win. Qin Ming laid out his analysis for Dugu Yen and Yi Lingling, straight to the point. Yi Lingling countered, Seven Treasures Glazed Tower support is strong. If her teammate is an agility attack type, strength, speed, and soul power could all get a huge boost. Yu Feng scoffed, even boosted, there's still a limit. Can she really handle Oslo and Mo at the same time? I'd say Oslo and Mo have at least an 80% chance of winning. Oslo was a level 36 Ghost Leopard Spirit, while Mo was a level 38 Black Tortoise Spirit, agility attack and defense, respectively. Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing were outmatched in spirit power. Contestants, please enter the arena. Release your spirits. Summon your spirit rings. The match begins. The referee announced. The four combatants each revealed 2 yellow and 1 purple soul ring. Hey, ladies, Mo said, how about you take off those masks if you lose? Seeing their shapely figures, Mo assumed they were beautiful and wanted to see their faces. Oslo rolled his eyes and kicked Mo. Focus on the fight, you idiot. If we lose, it's on you. Got it, Mo muttered, chastised. Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing didn't acknowledge them at all. 7 treasures, 1 boost, strength. 7 treasures, 2 boosts, speed. Ning Rongrong buffed Zhu Zhuqing with haste and power, dramatically increasing her stats. Zhu Zhuqing sped off like a bullet. Assist type, and really fast. She's even faster than me. Mo, focus on defense. Oslo warned. Black Tortoise Shield. Come on. Let's see if your attack is stronger than my defense. Mo activated his defensive soul skill, creating a tortoise shell barrier in front of Oslo, blocking Zhu Zhuqing's path. Oslo also boosted his own attack power, ready to meet Zhu Zhuqing head-on. Zhu Zhuqing used her speed to avoid a direct confrontation with Mo's defenses. Her target was Oslo. Netherworld thrust. Seizing an opening, Zhu Zhuqing lunged at Oslo. Fast. Not good. Leopard claw. Mo was too slow to intercept, leaving Oslo to defend himself. Bang, star, the two collided, sending Oslo flying back into Mo. Both suffered minor injuries. Damn. Her speed is insane, and she got a strength buff too. Her overall power is higher than mine. Mo, you gotta take out the support first. Can you hold her off? Or should I try to pin her down while you go for the support? Chapter 42 Poor Oslo and Mo. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 42 Poor Oslo and Mo, the Nether civets too fast. You go after her. I'll handle the 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda. I can support you. Oslo, the Nether civet will try to stop you from attacking the tower, so you'll. They quickly hashed out a plan. Go. Oslo sprinted toward Zhu Zhuqing, trying to block her. Mo spun around and charged toward Ning Rongrong. Zhu Zhuqing saw immediately they were going after Ning Rongrong first. No way that was happening, of course. Zhu Zhuqing was already at a disadvantage, held back by Oslo. Being faster than Oslo, she shook him off and caught up to Mo. Nice try. Xuanwu impact. Mo stopped short, pivoting to slam into Zhu Zhuqing with his shoulder. His 1000-year soul skill was both offense and defense, too close to dodge. Zhu Zhuqing was ready, having anticipated this. Netherworld 100 claws. The moment Mo used his skill, Zhu Zhuqing unleashed hers. Her sharp claws scraped against the spinning turtle shell, making a clanging noise, a stalemate. They both stumbled back. Mo's 1000-year skill, a mix of attack and defense, meant he was balanced but not particularly strong in either. Zhu Zhuqing, powered up by Ning Rongrong's buffs, had an explosive burst of power. Even though hers was only a century-old skill, she held her own against Shiremo. Gotcha. First soul skill, Leopard Claw. On the other side, Oslo saw the opening while Zhu Zhuqing and Shiremo clashed. He lunged at Ning Rongrong, claws out, and was right in front of her. Got her. Zhu Zhuqing smirked, Ning Rongrong laughed, throwing a punch right at Oslo's Leopard Claw. Was she crazy? Oslo was stunned. An auxiliary soul master with zero combat ability, trying to block his attack with her bare hands. Suicide. He tried to stop, but it was too late. Arg! But it was Oslo who screamed. Ning Rongrong's punch shattered Oslo's Leopard Claw. Now, Ning Rongrong's physical strength was enough to take on a great soul master. A century-old soul skill attack was nothing. After spending over 6 months with Chao De, eating ingredients to capture space and the subsequent fruits, her physique was continually improving, boosting her physical strength. Zhu Zhuqing's physical strength was about the same as Ning Rongrong's, on par with most great soul masters. No way. Isn't the 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda a support-only martial soul? How could she block Oslo's attack? Qin Ming and the others were stunned, unable to believe it. They couldn't fathom how Ning Rongrong did it, automatically discounting her physical strength. They assumed she'd use some trick. In the stands, those unfamiliar with the 7-treasure glazed tile pagoda, and how auxiliary soul masters work, simply assumed it was one of Ning Rongrong's own attacks. Most of the crowd were regular people, and even the soul masters present didn't know much about the pagoda martial soul. So, the reaction wasn't huge. Oslo and Shiremo in the arena were speechless. What just happened? She smashed my leopard claws with her fist. Oslo was in shock. While they were stunned, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing attacked. Zhu Zhuqing kicked Shiremo into the air, while Ning Rongrong punched Oslo in the gut. The hit snapped them out of their stupor. They were mortified. Oslo clutched his stomach. She broke my leopard's paw with a punch. Don't talk. Shiremo rubbed his aching waist. The Nether civet kicked right through my defense without even using a soul skill. It was all foot strength. That's just wrong. They were both terrified. This was the first time they'd met soul masters with such insane physical strength. It was inhuman. Oslo, so, you want to keep fighting? Shiremo paused. An auxiliary soul master can shatter your century-old skill with a fist. And the Nether civet's kick broke my defense. They're freaks. How can we win? Fighting on is just asking for trouble. But backing down now would be embarrassing. Just as they were debating, 2 black butterflies fluttered toward them. Huh? Butterflies? Black butterflies. Before they could react, the butterflies passed right through them. The next moment, Oslo and Shiremo dropped to their knees, screaming. Oslo pounded the ground, yelling, I'm a caterpillar. The toilet is my home. Shiremo cried, I stepped on an ant. I'm guilty. I repent. I want to become an ant. I'm a sinner. I don't deserve to live. The crowd was stunned, dead silent. Xiao Wu bit back a laugh to avoid seeming too strange, but soon, she burst out laughing. Are they kidding? I'm dying. What soul masters? What the heck? Is this a serious match? Ha! Xiao Wu couldn't hold it in. She was having a blast. Qin Ming, Du Guyan, Yi Lingling, Yu Feng, and Shiremo exchanged glances. Yu Feng, teacher, did Oslo get a soul skill? From the black butterfly. Qin Ming nodded. That's the Nether civet's skill. 2 black butterflies showed up. After they touched Oslo, he went like that. It's a very unusual skill that affects emotions. Yi Lingling was worried. Will Oslo stay like this forever? Qin Ming was also concerned. Probably not. Oslo and Shiremo stayed like that for a couple of minutes before snapping out of it. Then they looked at Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing as if they were ghosts. Shuddering, Shiremo, terrified, gave up. We quit. Oslo was equally scared. Yeah, we forfeit. Too scary. Crazy physical strength. Weird soul skills. Screw this. Even though they weren't in control, they knew what they were doing and saying. They didn't want to go through that again. The match is over. The Nether glass combo wins. The referee, still a bit dazed, felt something was off. He'd seen a lot of soul skills in the arena, but this was a first. Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing exchanged smiles. They were just here to have fun, and they certainly were. Xiao Wu was thrilled, but the Huangdo team was depressed and shocked. You're saying they broke your skills with just physical strength? A soul master's body is supposed to be a weakness. How could that happen? We have no idea. They're freaks. Yeah, freaks. And that black butterfly thing was terrifying. Totally unavoidable. That's a soul skill that messed with your emotions. You got hit because you're weak-willed. Bull. You try it. You'll be even worse than us. Yu Tianheng and Chowda, who'd returned from their own match, were confused. Yu Tianheng wondered why the Huangdo team was so down and acting so strange. Chowda didn't know why Xiao Wu, Zhu Zhuqing, and Ning Rongrong were so happy. Chen Li and Mai Xiang were equally baffled. End of this chapter. Chapter 43 Chrysanthemum Douluo strikes, Honest Chowda. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Silv City Great Spirit Arena. In the lounge, Chowda and the others were still waiting for Xiao Wu's solo soul fight to be arranged, but before they heard anything about the arena, they got an unexpected visitor. The lounge door burst open and slammed shut, revealing a flamboyant man with a limp wrist gesture. Surprised, Chowda and the others immediately went on alert. Chowda prepared to use his space jump to teleport them all out of danger at a moment's notice. Chowda, I've finally found you, the flamboyant man chuckled. Nice disguise, but not perfect. Xiao Wu, never one to back down, demanded, who are you? Hee hee. The man smirked. You're still green, no surprise you don't know me. Let's get acquainted. I'm from the Spirit Hall, an elder known as Zhu Douluo. Maybe you've heard the name. Ning Rongrong gasped. You're Zhu Douluo Yueguan. A titled Douluo. Titled Douluo. Zhu Zhuqing, Xiao Wu, Chen Li, and Mai Xiang were stunned. Chowda stepped forward. So it's Zhu Douluo from the Spirit Hall, a pleasure. You must be here for me, right? It wasn't hard for Spirit Hall to track them down. Chowda hadn't bothered with a disguise after leaving Soto City, and then he went and made things worse when he crippled the sixth prince, resulting in wanted posters. If they wanted to find him, they could, and today, they were participating in the Great Soul Arena fights. Even with the fake names and weak disguises, they couldn't hide their martial souls. Once they knew about their fights in Soto City, it was simple to trace them. That's why Chowda hadn't bothered trying to disappear. The disguises were to avoid unwanted attention, not to hide from Spirit Hall. Chrysanthemum Douluo just happened to be on a mission near Silv City, and Spirit Hall told him to check it out. Oh, Chrysanthemum Douluo studied Chowda. Not even a little surprised. Looks like you aren't afraid of the Spirit Hall coming after you. Interesting. I heard you have a space-type martial soul, and the spirit rings are groundbreaking. Care to show me? After receiving Chowda's file, Zhu Douluo was shocked. He had to see this martial soul and spirit rings for himself. Chowda remained cool. You're a titled Douluo. I can show you that much. This kid is fearless. Is it just because he can teleport? Zhu Douluo found Chowda more intriguing by the second. Chowda released his martial soul, but the spatial nature made it invisible. Still, Zhu Douluo detected the faint spatial distortion. An invisible martial soul, so this is space control. Impressive. Then Chowda revealed his 5 spirit rings: black, black, red, purple, purple. Chrysanthemum Douluo's eyes widened, his voice trembling. It's true. Kid, are you sure you only have one martial soul? No hidden twins. He'd seen twin martial souls before, with Bibi Dong. Her second spirit ring was at least 1,000 years, and there were 10,000-year rings, but nothing like Chowda's ludicrous third ring. 100,000-year red. Spirit Hall had sent Chowda's data back to Pope's palace. Bibi Dong suspected Chowda was a twin. Chowda shook his head. Just the one. I'm not Bibi Dong or Tang San. They have twins. I don't. But I'm not sure it is a disadvantage, that he knew the Pope had twins. Who was Tang San? And he has twins too. He really is so cocky, he must be humbled. Zhu Douluo ignored the Tang San mention and stared at Xiao De's spirit rings. A single martial soul with rings like that, you're a freak. Did Sword Douluo and Bone Douluo of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School get you that 100,000-year ring? I heard you're a disciple there, Xiao De was truthful. I'm not a disciple, but I'm good friends with Ning Rongrong. We have each other's backs. Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, and Xiao Wu wondered, why was Xiao De being so open today? Not a disciple, Zhu Douluo perked up. Who helped you get that 100,000-year ring? Xiao De said, that's a secret. Can't tell you. Ask something else. Zhu Douluo choked, but held it in. Why are the 4th and 5th rings purple? Shouldn't they be 10,000-year rings at least? It makes no sense. Xiao De nodded. Yeah, it looks weird. But that's a secret too. Can't say. You. Zhu Douluo was about to lose it. Breathe. Smile. Hee, fascinating kid. Let me ask you this, want to join Spirit Hall? Xiao De thought about it. What are the perks of joining? Chrysanthemum Douluo brightened. Tons of perks. We'll help you improve your spirit power, get you better spirit rings, even 100,000-year ring if you need it. Soul bones, status, money, everything. Very tempting. Time to say yes. Xiao De shook his head. I don't need any of that. Tell me something I do need. What audacity. Chrysanthemum Douluo bit back a retort. Bibi Dong wanted him to bring Xiao De back alive if possible, and it would be best to get him to join willingly. What do you need? Xiao De pondered, I'm not a gold digger. I heard Pope Bibi Dong of Spirit Hall is a beautiful woman with a one-of-a-kind aura. If I could romance her, then I'd join. You have a death wish. Zhu Douluo finally snapped. This kid was out of control, insulting Pope Bibi Dong. He struck out in fury. Hee, you finally cracked. Zhu Douluo, see you around. Xiao De's space jump was instantaneous. He teleported himself and his group away, disappearing from the room. You won't get away. Chrysanthemum Douluo seemed to have anticipated it. Xiao De reappeared a mile away, only to find Spirit Hall guards waiting for him. Halt, who goes there? Xiao De teleported again. And again. After a few more jumps, he seemed to have shaken them off. Still running. Moving in this space is so troublesome. Chrysanthemum Douluo had no choice but to temporarily abandon Xiao De. He was furious. No wonder he's so reckless and confident. Hee, wait until Her Majesty the Pope hears about this. The entire Spirit Hall will be after him. Daring to insult Pope Bibi Dong, Zhu Douluo knew she would be incensed. I hate it. I thought this Xiao De was honest, but he was just playing us. Don't let me catch you again, or you'll regret it. Zhu Douluo seated, feeling that Xiao De had been toying with him from the start. Chapter 44 Powerful Sword Douluo, Aggrieved Chrysanthemum Douluo. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It was over 10 miles outside Silv City. Let him go. No point in chasing, let's head back. Zhu Douluo and the Spirit Hall contingent had pursued Xiao De and his group from Silv City, but they still couldn't catch him, seeing Xiao De's spatial teleportation ability firsthand, moving himself and others. Zhu Douluo was both surprised and frustrated. The other Spirit Hall members obeyed Zhu Douluo's orders and dispersed. Chrysanthemum Douluo lingered, appearing in the top of a tree in the jungle, gazing into the distance. How am I going to explain this to His Majesty the Pope? Oh well, first things first, I'll head back. Just as Zhu Douluo was about to leave for Spirit City, a figure appeared, sword in hand. Sword Douluo, Qinshin. Chrysanthemum Douluo recognized him instantly. So, even if Xiao De isn't a disciple of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School, he's definitely connected to them. If such a monster ends up on their side, he'll be a huge threat to the Spirit Hall. Sword Douluo's arrival made Zhu Douluo pause. He didn't run, but his expression turned serious. Clearly, Zhu Douluo was wary of Sword Douluo's strength. Spirit Hall, Chrysanthemum Douluo, Yueguan. Sword Douluo stopped mid-air in front of Zhu Douluo, his sword held high. After the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School learned about Xiao De's performance in Suatua City, they understood the importance of his protection. Ning Fengzhi suspected that the Spirit Hall might target Xiao De, so, after discussing it, he sent Sword Douluo to keep a watch on him. The 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School had its own intelligence network, so Xiao De's presence in Sylve City couldn't escape their notice. Sword Douluo arrived in Sylve City just as the Spirit Hall attacked Xiao De and his group. He was about to intervene, but when he arrived, he saw that Xiao De and his group had already escaped from Zhu Douluo. Xiao De's strange teleportation ability made it impossible for Sword Douluo to know which direction Xiao De went, and he lost the group entirely. He was also worried about the Spirit Hall forces, so he followed them. If they found Xiao De and his group, Sword Douluo could intervene, but after following them, he found that even the Spirit Hall members were lost and couldn't track Xiao De. Even Sword Douluo had to admire Xiao De's skills. Originally, Sword Douluo had planned to leave quietly, but after thinking about it, he came out to warn the Spirit Hall and Zhu Douluo not to push things too far. Sword Douluo Qinshin, you've been secretly protecting Xiao De, haven't you? So, are you here to fight me? Chrysanthemum Douluo braced himself, ready to fight at any moment. Even if he feared Sword Douluo, he couldn't show it. Even if he couldn't win, he was confident he could escape. Yueguan thinks I'm secretly protecting Xiao De. Heh, even better. That'll scare them even more. Sword Douluo was happy for Zhu Douluo's misunderstanding. Zhu Douluo, the Spirit Hall is getting out of hand. Do you really think the entire Douluo Continent belongs to you? That every genius who doesn't want to join the Spirit Hall needs to be eliminated? Sooner or later, the Spirit Hall will control the entire Douluo Continent, and anyone who opposes us will die. Zhu Douluo thought this to himself, but instead spoke aloud. Ha! The Spirit Hall's actions are not for others to question. Not even the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Xiao De himself said he isn't a disciple of the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. So stop butting in. That kid Xiao De, if I ever see him again, he'll regret it. Sword Douluo didn't change his expression. Xiao De is practically family to the 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. If you touch him, you're making an enemy of us. If word gets out that the Spirit Hall is so domineering, people will be disappointed. That the Spirit Hall secretly targeted geniuses who didn't join them. Naturally, they didn't want that to be known. They still needed a good reputation to sway people. Heh, your words mean nothing. Zhu Douluo sneered. No one can stop the Spirit Hall. Is that so? Sword Douluo's 7-kill sword appeared in his hand. Since words were useless, he'd issue a warning through force. 5th soul skill, powerful. Several giant swords materialized above Zhu Douluo Yueguan's head. Sword Douluo Qinshin, don't think I'm afraid of you. 6th soul skill, golden ray flowing clouds. Chrysanthemum Douluo's spirit, Chirong Tong Tian Chrysanthemum appeared in his hand, causing the surrounding trees to bloom with golden flowers. He gathered powerful soul power in his hand and released the petals. The petals transformed into a meteor shower, attacking some of the giant swords overhead and attacking Sword Douluo. Clang. The petal weapons collided with the swords, and Chrysanthemum Douluo blocked several giant swords falling from overhead. Sword Douluo swung his 7-kill sword to block the incoming petals. 6th soul skill, myriad swords returned to origin. Sword Douluo unleashed an even stronger soul skill, conjuring tens of thousands of swords around him. The swords then combined to form a single enormous sword, brimming with power. Zhu Douluo's face turned grim. 7th soul skill, martial soul avatar. The massive golden chrysanthemum Tong Tian appeared, enhancing Zhu Douluo's strength, soul power, attack, speed, and other attributes. 8th soul skill, gate of holy light. Chrysanthemum Douluo fired a powerful beam of light from the stamen of his spirit, Jirong Tong Tian Chrysanthemum. The beam clashed with myriad swords returned to origin. The two attacks collided mid-air, creating a powerful gale that uprooted nearby trees and shattered rocks, sending debris swirling through the air. 7th Soul Skill, Martial Soul Avatar, a colossal sword shadow enveloped Sword Douluo. In the martial soul avatar state, his attack, soul power, and strength surged, myriad swords returned to origin intensified in power. Damn it, the difference in spirits made Ju Douluo's attack pale in comparison to Sword Douluo's. 9th Soul Skill, Chrysanthemum shatters, ground devastates, flower heartbroken. Chrysanthemum Douluo had no choice but to use his strongest 9th Soul Skill. He detonated his spirit, Jirong Tong Tian Chrysanthemum, scattering petals that coalesced into a massive, destructive tornado, a group attack technique. Is that all you've got? 8th Soul Skill, 12 Vein Cut, the thousands of swords dispersed as Sword Douluo's 8th Soul Skill manifested. The 7-kill sword Wuhuan in his hand created 12 sword shadows, each striking Chrysanthemum Douluo with 80% of his attack power. Chrysanthemum Douluo was facing an attack that was equivalent to multiple Sword Douluo attacking at once. Arg! Ju Douluo's 9th Soul Skill crumbled under the onslaught. He was sent hurtling backwards, crashing into a mountain dozens of meters away, and fell to the ground, blood trickling from his mouth, so strong. As expected of the heart of swordsmanship, Chrysanthemum Douluo had clashed with Sword Douluo before, and the outcome was the same. Sword Douluo Qinshin, I'll remember this. The Spirit Hall will not forget this. Chrysanthemum Douluo turned into golden light and fled. Any time, Sword Douluo didn't pursue. Though he could track Ju Douluo, killing him wouldn't be easy. Unless Ju Douluo stood his ground or someone else intervened, he couldn't stop Ju Douluo from escaping. Hopefully, after this, the Spirit Hall won't so easily target Xiao De again. That kid, I don't know where he took Rongrong. If something happens to Rongrong, humph. Sword Douluo left on his sword and continued his search for Xiao De and his group. End of this chapter. Chapter 45 Lu Erlong's Thoughts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Heaven Do City, Lanba Academy. Lanba Academy, we're back. Xiao De, Xiao Wu, Zhu Zhuqing, Ning Rongrong, Chenli, and my Xiang arrived near Lanba Academy. They'd changed their disguises after leaving Silv City and returned without a hitch. I wonder if Erlong's here. Xiao Wu was really missing Lu Erlong. Ning Rongrong, looking at the academy, said, I've heard about Lanba Academy before, but it's not got the best rep, and highfalutin Soul Master academies tend to look down on it. But you can't believe everything you hear. Lanba Academy has monster students like Xiao Wu and Xiao De, which puts it miles ahead of those other academies. Zhu Zhuqing added, we're students here now, too. Ning Rongrong grinned. That's right, for monsters instead of two. Chenli and her daughter, my Xiang, were awestruck by Lanba Academy. It was truly magnificent to them. From now on, they'd live, study, and train here. They were part of the Lanba Academy family now. On the way back, Xiao De and the others had hashed it out. Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing would enroll as students. Chenli and my Xiang would join the staff and live, work, study, and train here. Alright, let's go home. Xiao De led the group of 5, bypassing the main entrance and using his spatial ability to teleport directly to Lu Erlong's residence. With their disguises, going through the main entrance would have been a hassle. This was way easier. Just then, Lu Erlong was taking a bath when 6 people suddenly appeared in her room. Reacting quickly, she used her soul power to create a cloud of mist, then threw on some clothes and took a fighting stance. Who's there? Teacher Erlong, it's me, Xiao De. Xiao De was a little embarrassed. He hadn't expected this. Even though Lu Erlong had tried to cover up quickly, Xiao De had caught a glimpse. Mother Erlong, it's Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu chimed in. Xiao De. Xiao Wu. Lu Erlong, puzzled, dispersed the mist and, sure enough, saw Xiao De, Xiao Wu, and the others after they removed their disguises. Chenli, Ning Rongrong, and Zhu Zhuqing looked embarrassed. My Xiang, Innocent as she was, didn't think much of it but was curious about Lu Erlong. This was Xiao De and Xiao Wu's teacher. Xiao De, Xiao Wu, it really is you. Lu Erlong relaxed and said happily, what are you doing here? Well, we were disguised and it was a pain to come in the regular way, so we just warped in, Xiao De explained. Mother Erlong. Xiao Wu rushed over and hugged Lu Erlong tightly. I missed you so much. Lu Erlong patted Xiao Wu's head. I missed you too, honey. Xiao Wu truly saw Lu Erlong as her mom, and Lu Erlong saw Xiao Wu as her daughter. The two had grown very close during their 5 years at Lanba Academy. That's Lu Erlong. I heard she's got a fierce temper, but I'm not seeing it, Ning Rongrong whispered to Zhu Zhuqing. Zhu Zhuqing replied, didn't you just say not to believe everything you hear? Ning Rongrong nodded. Yeah. From now on, I'll listen to things I don't know, but I gotta see it myself to believe it. Xiao De walked toward Lu Erlong. Teacher Erlong, long time no see. I've missed you a ton, and I need a hug, too. Xiao Wu gladly gave up her spot, grinning. Go ahead, brother. Mother Erlong gives great hugs. Lu Erlong looked at Xiao De, her repressed feelings bubbling to the surface. She couldn't help but hug him tightly. Xiao De, welcome home. Xiao De soaked in Lu Erlong's fragrance and warmth, really enjoying the moment. Lu Erlong was only wearing a robe, which covered most of her, but left enough exposed to be enticing. Teacher Erlong, you're getting younger every day, Xiao De said smoothly. Lu Erlong loved to hear it. You always know what to say. Holding Xiao De, she didn't want to let go. Her heart was racing. She truly liked this feeling. But she was thinking, I can't actually be falling for him, that when Xiao De was always around, Lu Erlong hadn't felt this way. But after he left, she missed him more and more, realizing she didn't care about Yu Xiaojiang anymore. She missed Xiao De and realized she seemed to like him. After realizing this, Lu Erlong couldn't believe it. At first, she told herself not to think too much and used cultivation to numb herself, but she couldn't help thinking about Xiao De when she was free. Seeing Xiao De now and hugging him, Lu Erlong looked at his heart squarely and didn't want to keep avoiding it. She used to be persistent even after she knew about her relationship with Yu Xiaojiang, let alone Xiao De. Lu Erlong is a straightforward person who dares to love and hate, of course. This is thanks to the function of capturing space. Otherwise Lu Erlong would not have forgotten Yu Xiaojiang and gradually fallen in love with Xiao De. Ahem. Ning Rongrong coughed pointedly, feeling that Lu Erlong's disheveled clothes and the lingering hug with Xiao De were inappropriate, and that it all felt a little awkward. Lu Erlong snapped back to reality, noticing the others in the room. Reluctantly, she let go of Xiao De, looked at Ning Rongrong and the rest, and asked, are these friends you met on your travels? Xiao Wu jumped in to introduce them. Mother Erlong, this is Ning Rongrong from the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile School. Her spirit is the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile Pagoda, and she's a level 35 Soul Master. This is Zhu Zhuqing, with the Nether Cat Spirit, a level 36 Soul Master. They're both around my age, total geniuses, and they're joining Lanba Academy. 7 Treasures Glazed Tile School. 7 Treasures Glazed Tile Pagoda. Ning Rongrong, could she be the little princess of the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile School? Zhu Zhuqing, a level 36 Soul Master, is no worse than Xiao Wu in talent. Welcome to Lanba Academy. Regardless of Ning Rongrong's status, if she was willing to join Lanba Academy, Lu Erlong was happy to have her. Xiao Wu continued, this is Chenli, and her daughter is Mai Xiang. We rescued them. Awakening her spirit caused a change in her body, and her soul power hasn't reached level 10 yet. They're homeless right now, so we brought them here hoping to place them at Lanba Academy. Is that okay, Mother Erlong? Lu Erlong readily agreed. She'd hear the story of Chenli and Mai Xiang later. Turning to them, she said, in that case, make yourselves at home. From now on, Lanba Academy is your family. I hope you come to love it here. Thank you, Dean. We'll work hard, Chenli and Mai Xiang said gratefully, feeling relieved. They finally had a place to belong, a new home, and wouldn't have to worry about living on the streets. Lu Erlong became aware of her attire, blushing slightly. Xiao Wu, why don't you show them around the academy and find them a place to stay? I'll get dinner ready, and we can all eat together later. Chowda and the others started to leave, but Chowda didn't go with them. Xiao Wu took Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, Chenli, Mai Xiang and the others to visit the academy. For them it would be more convenient for them to be together. Why didn't you follow? After Lu Erlong had changed and emerged from her room, she found Chowda in the living room. Chowda answered, they're all girls, so it's easier if they're together. I haven't seen you in ages, Teacher Erlong, so I thought I'd stay and chat. Lu Erlong poured a cup of tea for herself and Chowda. It's been almost a year. Tell me what you've been up to. Sure. Chowda nodded. But first, I want to take you somewhere. Chowda led the suspicious Lu Erlong into his capture space. Chapter 46 The Powerful and Embarrassing Lu Erlong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Inside the space he'd captured. Whoa! Lu Erlong, stepping into the space, stared in stunned silence at what lay before her. It was a secluded island, complete with a villa. Clearly, someone lived here. The place felt lived in. 1 second she was in her living room, the next she was here, a stranger in a strange land. It was mind-blowing. Chowda, still holding her hand, stood beside her. Erlong, this is my biggest secret. It's my martial soul, a unique, spatial kind. I don't fully understand it, but it's real. Pretty amazing, huh? Chowda's martial soul had its own space. Lu Erlong struggled to wrap her head around it. Martial soul mutations were one thing, but this? Unbelievable. Come on, I'll show you the villa. I've got a room set up for you. Chowda tugged her hand and led her into the villa's main hall. Lu Erlong knew Chowda could jump through space, but never this far, and never with someone else. He couldn't do that before. This meant his spatial jumping skill had leveled up. The villa's decor and furnishings piqued her curiosity. Is all this real? Totally. You can even take stuff out of here. Chowda explained, showing her around. Even when things went over her head, Lu Erlong found it fascinating. About a half hour later, they reached the second floor. This whole floor is bedrooms, 10 of them. Xiao Wu, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zhuqing, me, and now you, that's 6 rooms claimed. Everyone's room is linked to their martial soul. Except for mine, only the owner can open their own room. Wow. Lu Erlong spotted the soft bone rabbit icon. That's Xiao Wu's room. She tried to open it, but couldn't. Chowda could, but they just peeked inside without going in. Then they saw Ning Rongrong's, Zhu Zhuqing's, and a room with a seraph martial soul. Who's got the seraph soul? Another girl? Classified. You'll meet her eventually. Chowda wasn't budging. Still keeping secrets, huh? Lu Erlong let it go, but one thing bugged her. Why do I have a room here? Chowda gave her the same line he gave Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing. No clue, really. I guess my heart or my martial soul has to approve someone for them to get a room. I see. The space was so bizarre, she trusted Chowda implicitly. This one's yours. Chowda led her to a door emblazoned with a fire dragon. Definitely my martial soul. Lu Erlong wondered what the room would be like. Would it suit her? She opened the door with a mix of excitement and anticipation. The room was primarily decorated in shades of green. Lu Erlong loved it at first glance. Everything was perfect, exactly her style. I adore this room. Your space is incredible. It knows what each owner likes. She bounced around the room, wanting to take it all in. Chowda filled her in on anything she didn't understand. The bed's so soft. Lu Erlong flopped onto it. This felt familiar. Chowda joined her, lying beside her. She turned to face him, their eyes locking. Their expressions spoke volumes, filled with affection and longing. Chowda had sensed Lu Erlong's feelings for him before. Now, Lu Erlong understood why Chowda had looked at her differently, not as a student, a relative, or someone older, but as a man looks at a woman, having acknowledged her own feelings, she realized that Chowda felt the same way, in that moment. Their eyes met, and they understood each other perfectly. Lu Erlong suddenly wrapped her arms around Chowda and kissed him. It was inevitable. Chowda was taken by surprise by Lu Erlong's boldness, but he wasn't complaining. Without a word, they surrendered to the moment. Afterward, Chowda held her close. "Erlong, I'm into you." Lu Erlong's heart melted. She gazed at him and kissed his cheek. "Chowda, I'm into you too. As long as you don't mind me being older, I'm yours. You're gorgeous. We'll grow old together, never apart." Chowda knew how to play the game. Smooth talker. She smiled. Lu Erlong looked much younger and more radiant than when she'd first met Chowda 5 years ago. Years of eating ingredients from his captured space had continuously improved her health, making her more youthful and beautiful, with delicate skin. Who knew if the food from the captured space could prolong life, but it definitely kept you looking young. Lu Erlong was living proof. "How long were we in there? Is it dark out? I need to make dinner." She remembered her duties. "Plenty of time." Chowda said, "Let's make it together. We can grab some ingredients and fruit to take out later." Lu Erlong grinned. "Then you're on duty. I haven't had your cooking in ages. I've missed it." "Chowda, don't worry, I got you." Lu Erlong nestled against his chest. This young man was strong, and he satisfied her. She felt at ease and sexually fulfilled. "So, what's going on with you and Xiao Wu?" Chowda said, "You're my first." "Really?" Surprised, Lu Erlong said happily, "You have some serious self-control." "Ugh, how am I supposed to face Xiao Wu now?" Lu Erlong didn't regret being with Chowda, but she felt guilty toward Xiao Wu. "Xiao Wu will come around." Chowda reassured her. She playfully pinched him. "This is all your fault. I don't know why I fell for you. What a mess. Thank capture space, of course." Chowda got handsy and dropped a bombshell. "Erlong, actually, Xiao Wu used to be a soul beast." Lu Erlong stared at him, thinking he was joking. He said calmly, "She's a 10,000-year-old soft-bone rabbit who took human form to train. Once she reaches level 70 and fully matures, she'll be completely human." He wasn't kidding. Lu Erlong was silent, then said, "No matter what Xiao Wu is, she's my daughter. You can't hurt her. We need to treat her even better." Chowda smirked. "You could be sisters." Lu Erlong was speechless. Actually, if she and Xiao Wu were sisters, things would be a lot easier. If she'd known, she wouldn't have recognized Xiao Wu as a goddaughter. "It's all your fault. You fix it. Don't tell anyone about us." "Not yet, anyway." Chowda nodded. "Whatever you say." After another round of intimacy, they got dressed and left together. Dusk had fallen. They started making dinner together, just like a regular couple. When Xiao Wu and the others got back, they noticed Lu Erlong's flushed complexion and asked questions, embarrassing her. They hadn't been there, they wouldn't understand. Chenli, on the other hand, knew exactly what was going on and was shocked. She hadn't expected Lu Erlong and Chowda to be like that. She glanced at Xiao Wu, Zhu Zhuqing, and Ning Rongrong. She'd heard that guys in big cities, especially rich ones, had multiple partners, so maybe it was normal for Chowda to have many women. End of this chapter. Chapter 48 Greatly Improved. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiao Wu gushed, "Congrats, Mother Erlong, hitting level 78. You'll be a Contra in no time." That like everyone else who fishes for the first time in the captured space, Lu Erlong was guaranteed to reel in a cure-all that instantly boosted her soul power by a whole level. She was already at level 77, so close to 78, and now she's at 78. It won't be long before she blasts through to 79, then hits level 80 and becomes a full-fledged Contra. Lu Erlong's advancement gave Chowda a boost as well. A few days later, he leveled up, pushing his own soul power to 57, that reminded him of the fairy herbs Dugu Bo had in the Sunset Forest. I wonder if Tang San's even gonna show up in Tiando City. Will Douluo even take him to the Eye of Ice and Fire? Since Chowda's arrival changed everything and the Shrek 7 never formed, Tang San's story took a detour, so it's anyone's guess if Tang San will even find those herbs. After a bit of thought, Chowda decided he should probably go grab them first thing. With Tang San's main character luck, who knows if he'll circle back and snag them somehow, better safe than sorry. Keep practicing, guys. I'm heading out for a bit. Chowda told Lu Erlong, Zhu Zhuqing, and Xiao Wu to keep training in the captured space. After leaving, he made sure to tell Qinli and her daughter Mai Xiang that he had to leave for a few days and would be back soon. Then he used his space jump soul skill to slip out of Lanba Academy unnoticed. The Sunset Forest is right behind Tiando City. It's one of the biggest spirit beast forests besides the Star Do Great Forest, with plenty of 10,000-year spirit beasts, maybe even some that are 10 times that age. According to what Chowda remembered, the Eye of Ice and Fire was deep inside the Sunset Forest, in the area where the 10,000-year beasts hang out. Beasts that are just pups, 3, 5, or 10,000 years old, are no threat to Chowda, and he doesn't bother messing with them. He uses his space jump to avoid them. He'd pop back to the captured space to rest, recharge his soul power, and grab some sleep at noon and night. The next day, Chowda found a place choked with poisonous gas. This has gotta be it. He remembered that Douluo had set up a poison formation around the Eye of Ice and Fire. Even 10,000-year beasts wouldn't dare go near it. Chowda isn't immune to everything, but this poison array was pretty much useless against him. He used his Forbidden Air soul skill to clear the poisonous gas out of the way, and strolled right into the Eye of Ice and Fire like he owned the place. Douluo's not here. Perfect. Chowda wasted no time hunting for the magic herbs. Based on what he remembered from the stories, Chowda could identify a few of them by their unique traits, but he didn't know them all. Thankfully, he had a way to figure them out. He'd just pluck the ones he didn't recognize and take them to the captured space. There, the fishing platform had stone tablets that could identify anything. He'd just put an unknown herb on it, and the tablet would display its name, grade, medicinal properties, and all that. That's how Chowda managed to find all the fairy herbs in the Eye of Ice and Fire. After grabbing everything else, that just left the star anise black ice grass and the raging fire apricot near the spring of the eye. The star anise black ice grass is intensely cold. Most people would freeze solid just getting close to it. The raging fire apricot is extremely hot, and ordinary people would be burnt to a crisp if they got near it. Chowda couldn't just walk up and grab them, but he had a way. Space Blade, that without even touching the fairy grass, Chowda used his fourth soul skill, an invisible space blade, to slice off both plants. Space Jump. Then, he teleported the raging fire apricot next to the star anise black ice grass, letting them neutralize each other's properties and weaken their individual power. Extremely cold and extremely hot, the two extremes feed off each other. Alone, they're incredibly destructive, but together they cancel each other out. That's it. If Tang San could handle it, so could Chowda. He grabbed the two neutralized and milder fairy herbs and swallowed them. Their power spread instantly through his body. It was painful, sure, but Chowda could take it. To better and faster absorb the herb's power, Chowda got into the spring water of the Eye of Ice and Fire. With the two fairy herbs coursing through him, the spring water didn't affect him at all. A few hours later, Chowda was basically done refining and absorbing the two plants. Level 59. My soul power probably went up nearly 2 levels. You only need one of these herbs to get the full effect, so taking more wouldn't do anything. Chowda's soul power only got the bump from those two. By neutralizing the star anise and raging fire, it was basically like turning them into a single, super herb. In the original story, Tang San took them and, half a year later, he'd only gone up 3 or 4 levels, still in the Soul Master realm. At the Soul King level, Chowda jumped his soul power almost 2 levels in one shot, way better than Tang San. It was already afternoon, so Chowda left the Eye of Ice and Fire and got out of the Sunset Forest before dark. He hopped into the captured space that night. Bro, what have you been doing for the past 2 days? So mysterious. Did you finish what you were doing? Xiao Wu ran up to Chowda, curious. Dinner's ready. Let's eat. Lu Erlong walked into the living room with the dishes, Zhu Zhuqing right behind her. They'd been hanging out with Lu Erlong earlier, Chowda looked at them and said, "Yeah, all done. I even found some good stuff. I'll show you after dinner." After the meal, the four sat around the table, and Chowda pulled out 3 wooden boxes filled with fairy herbs. "I've been hunting for these herbs for the last couple of days, and I actually found some." Chowda grinned, not wanting to go into all the complicated details. Lu Erlong frowned. Fairy herbs, Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing hadn't heard of them either. Chowda explained a little. Fairy herbs are like the ultimate medicine in the world. If you take them, they can boost your soul power by a bunch of levels. More importantly, they improve your talent, upgrade the quality of your martial soul, make you level up faster, and improve your physical fitness. You'll see when you try them. Whoa, seriously, Lu Erlong, Xiao Wu, and Zhu Zhuqing stared at the herbs in the wooden boxes. Chowda started handing them out. "This one's for Xiao Wu. It's called Acacia Heartbroken Red. This is for Teacher Erlong. It's a coxcomb phoenix sunflower, a fire attribute herb that's perfect for you. And the last one is the Narcissus Jade Muscle Bone, just right for Zhuqing." They trusted Chowda's choices. After they refined the herbs, the fire attribute of Lu Erlong's fire dragon martial soul became even more powerful. The quality of her martial soul was upgraded, along with her physique and spiritual power. Her soul power hit exactly level 80, a little more than a full level up. After Zhu Zhuqing took the Narcissus Jade Muscle Bone, her soul power jumped from level 36 to level 42. A little different from the original story, but that makes sense, since Zhu Zhuqing's talent is higher now. Xiao Wu got the biggest boost. After taking the Acacia Heartbroken Red, her soul power went from level 45 to level 51. The Acacia Heartbroken Red really is perfect for Xiao Wu. Chapter 49 Enhancing Attribute Strength. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is that fairy grass? The benefits are insane. Bro, I'm about to be a soul king, just like you. Once Zhuqing gets her 4th spirit ring, she'll be a soul sect. Erlong needs her 8th to become a contra. Congrats all around. Lu Erlong, Xiao Wu, and Zhu Zhuqing were hyped. They didn't expect one celestial herb to give them such a huge boost. Once the excitement wore off, the 4 of them settled down to solidify their new strength, because Lu Erlong, Xiao Wu, and Zhu Zhuqing's soul power had increased. Chowda's soul power also jumped up more than 1 level. He's at level 60 now, almost 61. After Ning Rongrong takes the fairy grass, Chowda should hit level 61 for sure. Now Chowda needs to find a donor for his 6th spirit ring. He'd already been thinking about it, with a few candidates in mind: Bibi Dong, Bo Saishi, Shui Binger, Huo Wu, Yi Lingling, Hulaina, and so on. Bo Saishi was on Sea God Island, and way too strong to approach easily. Bibi Dong was the Pope, and a title Douluo with twin spirits, also super difficult for Chowda to get close to right now. After some thought, Chowda decided to keep them as backup options for his next spirit ring. For now, being in Tiando City, Shui Binger, Huo Wu, and Yi Lingling were the best bets. They had great martial souls and talent, especially Shui Binger. Her Ice Phoenix martial soul was top-notch and had huge potential. If she took the fairy grass, she'd be just as good as Zhu Zhuqing and the others. She was Chowda's #1 choice. The next day, Chowda left the capture space, planning to head back to Lanba Academy, but since Lu Erlong and Zhu Zhuqing both needed spirit rings, they decided to look for them in the Sunset Forest. As for Xiao Wu, her 5th spirit ring had condensed last night, a ring with over 2,000 years. This caused Chowda's 1st spirit ring's age to increase by more than 2,000 years, reaching over 4,000 years, and strengthening his 1st spirit ability. The 3 of them came out of the capture space too. Lu Erlong said, "First, let's help Zhuqing get her 4th spirit ring." Chowda nodded. With Zhuqing's current spirit, soul, and physique, she can handle a spirit ring over 1,000 years old, no problem. Xiao Wu agreed. My 5th spirit ring is almost 3,000 years old, which is practically a leapfrog absorption. Even though 10,000-year spirit beast rings cause soul shocks, Zhuqing's soul is strong enough to take it. If he'd known the full benefits of the ingredients from the capture space earlier, Xiao Wu could have condensed a spirit ring over 10,000 years old, which was a shame. Now that Xiao De understood the situation, he wasn't about to let Zhu Zhuqing and the others miss out on such a good opportunity. Zhu Zhuqing nodded, "I'm willing to try." Both she and Ning Rongrong absorbed their third spirit ring by leapfrogging, so she was pretty confident this time. Lu Erlong didn't object. Now, she was more aware that the improvements from the capture space ingredients, fruit, and fairy grass were enough for Zhu Zhuqing and her to leapfrog absorb spirit rings. The soul beast Zhuqing's looking for should be around 1,000 years old, with dark attributes, to further boost her dark power. Xiao De said, her dark attribute power is already strong. Zhuqing can gain even more power after maxing out the sensitive attack. Just like you, Erlong, you have strong attack power, plus the fire attribute. The combined combat power is even stronger. Lu Erlong agreed, Xiao De's right. My martial soul is a mutation. It's not a blue lightning tyrant dragon, but a fire dragon. I enhanced some fire attribute power before, but I didn't focus on it enough. I should have absorbed a fire attribute soul beast ring to boost my fire power. Luckily, taking the Coxcomb Phoenix Sunflower Immortal Herb has bumped my fire attribute power up a level, making it just as strong as my dragon's strong attack power. Most soul masters' martial souls either have no attributes or the attributes aren't obvious. Even among those with attribute-based martial souls, few actually focus on enhancing the attribute itself. Instead, they focus on the attack, speed, defense, control, and other aspects of the martial soul. Xiao Wu said, my martial soul doesn't have any obvious attribute strength, so I'm jealous of you all. Even a soul beast like her didn't have a special attribute power. Even after transforming into a human, looking at Xiao Wu's soul skills, it's clear that her martial soul, or body, doesn't have a definite attribute power. The dark attribute power in Zhu Zhuqing's martial soul wasn't obvious before, but after getting her third soul ring, it was stimulated and became prominent, giving her the opportunity to develop her dark attribute power. Therefore, the soul beasts they look for in the future should definitely have dark attribute power and be the sensitive attack type. With so many requirements, such a soul beast will be difficult to find. It's the same for Lu Erlong. She should choose a fire attribute attack type soul beast with a lifespan of more than 5,000 years, also hard to find. If they can't find anything in the Sunset Forest, they'll have to go to other soul beast forests, or straight to the Star Do Forest. Even though it's pretty far from Tiando City, they went straight into the 10,000-year spirit beast territory, and after several days of searching, they hadn't found a suitable beast. They ran into the teachers and students from Kamikaze Academy, but Feng Xiaotian wasn't with them. There wasn't any conflict, they greeted each other, and kept looking for their soul beasts. They also met two mercenary groups, people who hunted soul beasts and obtained soul rings for others. No conflict there either. Wait a minute. Zhu Zhuqing suddenly shouted, there are dark power fluctuations in the black hole over there. Maybe there are soul beasts with dark attributes. Within this range, the soul beasts are basically 10,000-year soul beasts, but they don't know if any of them are at least 1,000 years old. If they're over 2,000, they're not suitable for Zhu Zhuqing. I'll use my mental strength to investigate. Among the four, Xiao De has the strongest mental power. He focused his mental power into the black hole. Bingo! There's a soul beast inside. It has dark attribute power, and it's not weak. It looks like a cat, with a tail longer than its body. I'll attack it to see what kind of soul power it has and what level it is, so we can judge its age. Xiao De activated Space Blade, an invisible blade that passed through space and appeared next to the long-tailed black cat in the black hole, slashing it right on its butt. Meow! That the long-tailed black cat yelped in pain and quickly ran out of the black hole. Its overall size was much different from a house cat, only the tail was excessively long. Among the types of soul beasts that Xiao De and the others knew, they had never seen anything like this. Hiss! That the long-tailed black cat glared at Xiao De and the others, its fur standing on end, and it made a threatening sound. Lu Erlong said, judging by its soul power, it should be over 1,000 years old, but not more than 2,000. We finally found a good one. You guys stay back. Xiao De, protect Xiao Wu and Zhu Qing. If there's any danger, get in the space. I'll handle it. Xiao De didn't argue with Lu Erlong. He let her fight first. Dealing with a soul beast with a cultivation base of over 1,000 years shouldn't be a problem. Lu Erlong unleashed her fire dragon martial soul, and her spirit rings, 2 yellows, 2 purples, and 3 blacks. First soul skill, fire dragon possession, boosting her own strength. Second soul skill, fire dragon arm. Come on, her hands were wrapped in a layer of flame dragon scales. This was going to be a hand-to-hand fight. She went straight for the long-tailed black cat. End of this chapter. Chapter 50 Nether Transformation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Meow. The black cat with the long tail sprang up, claws extended, empowered by dark energy. Bang. Lu Erlong's fiery dragon arm slammed into the cat's claws, black light clashing with fire. The black cat went flying, yowling in anger. Not bad, let's go again. Lu Erlong charged. Meow. The cat's tail shot out, extending like a never-ending rope, wrapping around Lu Erlong. Her attacks kept hitting the tail and eventually became entangled. The dark energy radiating from the tail began to mess with Lu Erlong's mind. Fifth soul skill, Raging Flames. Lu Erlong activated her 10,000-year soul ring skill, unleashing dragon flames that swirled around her in a protective vortex. The vortex forced the tail to retreat, but the cat aimed its attack from above. Gotcha. Lu Erlong's flames weren't just for defense. She erupted the vortex upwards, forming a dragon flame tornado that slammed into the cat. The skill burned intensely, providing both multidirectional defense and a powerful, large-scale attack. The tornado protected her from above, negating that weakness of the vortex form. However, it couldn't defend against attacks from below, so it was multidirectional defense, but not complete. The tornado forced the cat to break off its attack and leap away. Meow. The cat suddenly unleashed its dark energy and soul power, growing rapidly from house cat size to that of a leopard. Its physical strength more than doubled instantly, equivalent to a nearly 3,000-year-old soul beast. Teacher Erlong, be careful. Xiao Wu called out, worried. Stay back. Lu Erlong turned serious, activating her martial soul avatar, a fire dragon avatar. She transformed into a massive fire dragon, ready for battle. In this state, her strength, speed, attack power, defense, resistance, and fire abilities were all drastically amplified. The dragon and cat fought fiercely. Lu Erlong quickly gained the upper hand, and the cat was soon badly injured. When its life was in danger, it tried to flee. Not so fast. Fourth soul skill, Bloodthirsty Flames. Lu Erlong unleashed a wave of dragon flames that surged forward, targeting the fleeing cat with a burning attack, a long-range area of effect skill. Meow. The cat was hit, slamming into a stone wall, severely wounded. Lu Erlong appeared before it, continuing her assault until it was incapacitated. Teacher Erlong, you're amazing. Zhu Qing had never seen a female soul master fight so fiercely, and she couldn't help but admire her. Xiao Wu cheered, go Mother Erlong. Awesome. Xiao De added, giving a thumbs up. Lu Erlong tossed her hair proudly. Go get her Zhu Qing, she's all yours now. Zhu Qing approached and finished off the cat. Before absorbing the soul ring, black butterfly wings emerged from her back, drawing out the dark energy from the cat's body as she absorbed the ring. Lu Erlong had witnessed Zhu Qing's external spirit bone before. You're really blessed, Zhu Qing. Despite being a soul sage, Lu Erlong didn't possess a single soul bone. Xiao De declared, I'm entering the Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Competition. I hear the Spirit Hall has prepared 3 spirit bones over 10,000 years old. Gotta grab them while they're there. Xiao Wu nodded. With my brother's strength, plus me, Zhu Qing, and Rongrong, winning the championship will be no problem. Lu Erlong agreed. That's right. The 4 of you are Lanba Academy's core. We're finding 7 others to support you in the competition. You'll definitely turn heads and surpass your predecessors. Xiao De would soon be a Soul Emperor, Xiao Wu Soul King, Zhu Qing Soul Sect, and Ning would also become soul sect after taking the fairy grass. The four of them, especially Xiao De's space martial soul skills are very powerful, and they can't hide. It's embarrassing to win a championship. The three of them chatted quietly on the side, keeping watch over Zhu Zhuqing, ensuring no other soul beasts approached. This was the long-tailed black cat's territory, so other soul beasts generally stayed away. After a while, they focused on Zhu Zhuqing. Xiao Wu commented, the dark energy in Zhuqing's body is getting stronger. Her third soul skill, Netherfall, is going to get a serious boost. That skill is so unique, Xiao De said. Right now, the dark energy is mainly affecting the mind, making people weaker and more negative. After she absorbs it, her third soul skill will definitely be strengthened a lot. I'm afraid even a soul sage will be affected. He glanced towards the black hole nearby. The long-tailed black cat has lived in the black hole all year round, and some dark power has been deposited in it. Later, Zhu Qin can use the external spirit bone to absorb it, which can increase some dark power to some extent. It cannot be wasted, the dark power is too difficult to come across. Zhu Zhuqing leapfrogged to absorb the soul ring very smoothly. A little soul shock had no effect on Zhu Zhuqing, for soul rings, yellow, purple, and black, materialized around her, indicating she'd completed the absorption. 10 minutes later, Zhu Zhuqing's energy stabilized, and her breathing returned to normal. Seeing Zhu Zhuqing open her eyes, Xiao Wu asked with a smile, "How are you feeling?" Zhu Zhuqing shook her head. There was a bit of soul shock, but it passed quickly and had no effect. My soul power is at level 43 now. That's more than one level increase. I should hit level 44 in about 10 days. Erlong said, absorbing soul rings by leapfrogging, the spirit power can be greatly improved. Everyone wants to, but not many can do it. Xiao De asked, what's the new soul skill? Zhu Zhuqing stood and activated her fourth skill. Her body started shifting, doubling in size in an instant, becoming a massive giant. Xiao Wu stared up at Zhu Zhuqing, wide-eyed. Whoa, you're huge. Xiao De stared at Zhu Zhuqing, this figure was even more majestic. Erlong asked, that's the long-tailed black cat's ability to grow bigger. Zhuqing, how much has your strength increased? Zhu Zhuqing's body began to shrink, returning to its normal size. My body becomes gigantic, but I can change it back under control, and my power will not be affected. This is my fourth soul skill, Nether transformation, which will make my own dark power, and the attack power is doubled in a short time. How long it can last depends on how long your own soul power can last. Slow consumption of soul power takes a long time, fast consumption takes a short time. This meant she could fight in giant form or revert to normal size, but her power wouldn't be affected.